Well, hello everyone, Lock Garden Bird Lady here, coming to you guys with a quick video. And in this video here, I know I have been reserving the last couple of Wednesdays for a Parrot Wellness Wednesdays. So I do apologize if you were looking forward to a parrot video today. Today we're just going to talk about, we're just going to name it Wellness Wednesdays and just talk about mental health today. What prompted this video is I just found out what happened with Simone Biles, and I just kind of want to really touch on that. And I also wanted to talk about the Sha'Carri Richardson situation and other athletes, and I just wanted to talk about mental health. I don't have any notes here, and so I'm just going straight off my head, and let's jump right into it. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. If this is not your first time, welcome back. If this is your first time, welcome. I hope that you do decide to join the family and stay by hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and of course ringing that bell. Now, obviously, as you know, as you've seen, this is a very diverse channel. I talk about all types of things on this channel. Now, majority of my content, I do try to keep it centered around parrots, but sometimes some things will come up and that I just want to talk about. And this is one of those situations. So make sure if you are here for parrot-centered content, usually on Wednesdays, it will be a parrot-centered video on Wednesdays. But this Wednesday, I decided to do just a Wellness Wednesday. And so make sure you turn on notifications so you will be notified when I do any kind of parrot-centered videos if that's the reason that you're here. So for whatever reason you're here, you do need to be notified when I post a video about that specific topic. So without further ado, let's talk about the Simone Biles situation. The Simone Biles situation was very, very disappointing. Not the fact that she dropped out. It was disappointing. It's the response. I have seen comments that are so outrageous and so insensitive. And I'm like, are you serious? A lot of people have been calling her a quitter and that she's selfish. And what a lot of people don't know is from what I've researched, and if I'm wrong, you can feel free to correct me in the comment section below, but I try to research this very extensively, and I think I have the right information. From my understanding is whatever Simone, when she faulted on the vault, when she stumbled on the vault, whatever the score was, even if she would have gotten a perfect score, Russian still would have been first place, and America's and USA still would have been second place. From my understanding, Simone did what she did. Like, we got second place in the bag. Mentally, I don't want to risk you guys missing this second place trophy, this medal, this second place medal that's already in the bag, and you get third, or you get fourth, or you get 11th, or whatever the place may be. That's my understanding. Me, I applaud her for knowing when to leave. And one of my favorite movies is Fried Green Tomatoes. As Cicely Tyson said in Fried Green Tomatoes, or her character Sipsy said, Miss Ruth was a lady, and a lady always knows when to leave.
You know, Miss Ruth was a lady. And a lady always knows when to leave.
So she knew, and a lot of people who are talking trash about her have not even accomplished half of the things that she's accomplished. She is one of the greatest gymnasts. She is the greatest gymnast of all time. Hey, you, stop typing. Stop looking for the click off button. This is not my opinion. I have no opinion in this situation as far as how great she is. I'm not a gymnast. I don't know. But what I'm going by the facts. I'm going by the stats. I'm going by the records that she holds. And right now, she is the greatest. And I mean, we can't argue that. The numbers show for themselves. I mean, you can go look up. You can do your own research. Don't trust what I say. Do your own research. Just by her numbers and the difficulty in her stunts, she is the greatest as of right now. So again, not my opinion, but it's a fact. Look it up. She's only 25 years old. First went to the Olympics at 16 years old. She has 31 medals, Olympic and world medals. She has 31 medals. And she even has more pressure because not only is she the best gymnast, but I read an article a while back where she said she never really faced racism in gymnastics until she was 13 years old. I think at the time that was in 2016, where one of the Italian gymnasts was like, well, next year, Simone was like kicking her butt and everything. And she made a comment. She was like, well, next year we're going to paint our skin black and maybe we'll win everything. And I'm like, wow. So before that, Simone was really the type of person who tried to keep race out of what she did. She wanted to strive to be the greatest, period. Not the greatest black this or the greatest black that. She wanted to strive to be the greatest, period. And she achieved that. And I wanted to talk about this because I'm someone who struggles with mental health issues, who struggles with depression and anxiety. And I'm just being transparent with you guys. The latest thing that I was subscribed was Effexor. I was originally on Trazodone last year. This year I'm on Effexor or whatever. So just being transparent about my mental health. Now, I have a relationship with Christ to where I am able to cope with a lot of things. I'm able to go to my prayer chambers. I'm able to go to my Bible. I'm able to listen to gospel music. I'm able to have this spiritual connection with Christ, and it helps me. Not everyone has that. Everyone needs it, but not everyone has that. So just putting myself in this situation. I'm not on the world stage. The world isn't looking at me. The world isn't looking at me. I sit downstairs. I work from home. I talk to clients over the phone. I don't have to look at people face to face. Sometimes my depression and my anxiety can get the best of me, and I have to take off work just to get myself together. Whether I choose to take off work to spend that time praying, to spend that time fasting, to spend that time crying, to spend that time, laying in the bed with the lights off. Depression and anxiety is a real thing and is actually debilitating. And in this situation, I think that Simone it was a lose-lose situation, because had she stayed and continued to be out of character by faulting on the vault, or not hitting or being just crisp, clean, and perfectionist that we know that she is, people would have had something to say about that. If she would have stayed and she would have cost them that silver medal, people would have had something to say about that. If she would have stayed and she would have hurt herself because mentally she's just not there, people would have had something to say about that. So in Simone Biles' situation, it is just a lose-lose. No matter how you look at it, someone's always going to have something to say. I applaud her for being on the world stage and not being so selfish to say, you know what, I can't. And when you have issues with mental health, there are a lot of times when you have to say, I can't. I can't. Like I said, my job, I don't deal with people on my job. But because I know my clients that come on my line, they need me to be 100%. Because I know I am a part of a team. If I can't give my clients 100%, I have to take time for myself. I have to take time for myself to get myself together. And the only difference between me, you, and Simone Biles is the world isn't looking at us. I may have maybe 50-something people watch a YouTube video, but the world isn't looking at me. And as I was talking to someone about this situation, I brought up Sha'Carri Richardson. Sha'Carri Richardson, the same issue, anxiety, depression. She just found out from a complete stranger that her biological mother passed. So she decided to self-medicate. Not saying that it's right what she did, not saying that it was smart what she did, but she decided to self-medicate. And in deciding to self-medicate, she broke the rules of the Olympics, so she lost out. Okay? People had something to say about that. So, I mean, these athletes and these people that are in the public eye, they are under an immense amount of pressure that I can't even pretend to understand. Like I said, just sitting at my computer and being here for my customers, and I get overwhelmed sometimes, where I used to self-medicate. I used to be an alcoholic. I used to. I'm not gonna lie to you guys about that. I'm not gonna hide that from you guys. And that's how I would cope with things. I would turn to alcohol to be able to cope with whatever was going on around me. I would turn to alcohol. But like I said, now I got a relationship with Christ and I can turn to him. But it still takes for me to pull away from whatever I'm in. If I know the company that I work for is, I'm not going to say who I work for. I don't want y'all to know who I work for. But the company that I work for, everyone in the United States and probably in the world knows this company. Knows this company. So without telling you too much about the company that I work for, because I don't want nobody to know my business. But the company that I work for is in the, not even in the Fortune 500, it's in the Fortune 100s. And it's amazing where our company plays. But our company has a reputation. And if I know I can't deliver, I have to take some FMLA time. I'll tell y'all my business as far as this. I have pre-approved FMLA time for situations like depression, anxiety, insomnia. And sometimes I just need to take off, use FMLA just to get some sleep, because my doctor has said that my depression is anxiety induced depression. I'm sorry, is insomnia induced depression. So when I am an insomniac, everyone knows that. So when my insomnia gets so bad, when I go, 3, 4, 5, whatever days without sleep, then my depression gets worse and I am not able to perform at the level that I'm expected to perform. Not because you may not see me. We're on the phone. We're chatting over the phone. You may not see me as, Lock Garden Bird Lady, but you see when you talk to me, you may not even remember my name, but you're going to remember our company. You're going to remember our slogan. You're going to remember our commercials that you see all the time on television. So with that being said, if I can't perform, I am not doing a disservice to me, but I'm doing a disservice to my customer and my whole team and company as a whole. And that is a lot of pressure. And like I said, I'm not even on the world stage. My company that I work for is on the world stage, but me as an individual, I'm not on the world stage. But I know there's a standard that my company has, and if my mind isn't there, I can't do this. I can't do it. I have to take time to take care of myself. And that's the most important thing. Because believe it or not, pressure bursts, like my husband made a comment today where he said pressure bursts pipes. And it does. Pressure, if you don't take care of yourself and you keep going and going and going, you will burst. You will lose it. There are so many people who are not here with us today because not only have some people, because just the pressure of the world, just the pressure of family, just the pressure of just a job has caused them to take their own lives, but some people have had heart attacks, have had strokes just because of the pressure of life. And I applaud Simone for stepping down. I do. You can say what you want to say. This girl, since the age of 16, so almost 9 years, she has dealt with the pressures, the critics, the racism. She has dealt with this for almost 9 years. Can you imagine a 16-year-old being faced with racism, not just from your city, but from the world? Being faced with critics, not just from your city or your family, but from the world. This is so much pressure. I could not even imagine. And I'm pretty sure you can't either. And a lot of people who are insulting her, who are talking trash about her, I'm pretty sure that they haven't accomplished a tenth of what she has accomplished. Not even a tenth of what I was going to say half, but no, we're not even going to play those games. They haven't even accomplished a tenth of what she's accomplished. And I was looking at like the pressure she's under, because even from her own community, even though she doesn't like to bring race into it, even though with her own community with black people reject her because they say she acts too white, she talks too white, she is too white. Even though, because like most people, when they get in the spotlight, they don't date within the race. They date outside their race. But Simone Biles actually has a black boyfriend. He looks like me. What's his name? Jonathan Owens. I think he's like a football player or something. she has a black boyfriend, but even the pressure coming from the black community saying that she's not black enough, she doesn't act black, she doesn't talk black, she doesn't. But then on the other side, you have Sha'Carri Richardson, and even in the black community, people were saying she's too ghetto, she's too this, and she's too that. And let me address that while I'm talking about this. Sha'Carri Richardson, I liked her. You know, I really liked her because being someone who used to run track and watching one of her interviews, she said Wilma Rudolph was her inspiration. Wilma Rudolph was also my inspiration. What Sha'Carri does in her personal life, that has nothing to do with me. I have nothing to do with what she has going on in her personal life. I'm just talking about the sport and her as an athlete. But I actually, my first report that I did for Black History Month was on Wilma Rudolph, and people talked so much trash about Sha'Carri, the fact that she had this hair and these nails, but y'all must not remember FloJo. Florence Joyner. Y'all must not remember FloJo. FloJo has the nails. FloJo had the hair. It may wasn't, colorful but it's basically the same thing. And people talk smack about her that day too. So I can only imagine the pressure that these young women have been under. And I think that we do need to have empathy. I do think we need to have understanding. So I know someone is waiting for me to talk about the Sha'Carri Richardson and marijuana thing. Okay, so I think that she should have been allowed to compete. I don't condone marijuana. I don't condone doing drugs. But I think that looking at the circumstances is how many drug tests has she had before that she did not fail? How many has she had before that she didn't fail? She failed this one because, the world is attacking her. Not making excuses. The world is attacking her. She found out from a complete stranger that her biological mother died. And she has this crazy anxiety, and who else knows what else going on in her mind. So she decided to self-medicate and calm herself down. What I wish would have happened is I wish she would have actually sat down and talked to, if not, I always want to say a religious official. I always want to say a pastor or a preacher and someone to introduce her to Christ, so she can be able to learn how to cope with these things. But even if not that, just giving her, talking to a psychiatrist. And even if she talked to a psychiatrist and her anxiety was too high and they actually prescribed her anti-anxiety medications, then what would have been the story in that situation? So I guess what I'm just trying to say is, y'all have some empathy. These are young women. Sha'Carri is 21, I think, and Simone is 25, and they're dealing with pressures that I can't even begin to understand. And people deal with things different ways. I just think that we should be more sensitive to a lot of the issues that people are having. And that's why I don't like the whole when everybody is strong black woman, we don't need no man, we do this, we do that. But at the same time, we ourselves, we face emotional and mental issues as well, just like other people. And a lot of things that I notice is people are a lot more sensitive when someone of a different race has mental issues. The same thing, is happening with Naomi Osaka. I think that's how you say her name. The young lady who plays tennis, and she actually decided not to participate because of anxiety and depression. So it's just amazing how insensitive people can be. It's amazing how mean and how nasty how people can be behind the keyboard. And I don't know Sha'Carri, but ever since the situation happened, I've been praying for her. And I haven't been praying Lord, Lord, let her go to the Olympics. Let her go to the Olympics. No, I've been praying Lord, help her to get to know you. allow someone to come and minister you to her, to where she would get to know you, to when these situations show up, then she will have another avenue besides turning to drugs or turning to alcohol or turning to whatever it may be. Then she will know how to turn to you. And it's just, I don't understand people. I really don't understand people. I don't understand how people can just be so insensitive. And basically, these are children. These are, I mean, I know they're women, but they're I'm 37. So to me, they're children, little cute little girls. And I remember Simone at 16. I remember when she first came out, and I was like, man, God has his hands on that little girl. And to see her just mature, and that took a lot. That took a lot, knowing that you already have critics, knowing that you have thousands, if not thousands, and hundreds of thousands of people who are already rooting for you to fail. So I think she did was knowing, just me. I've never been in her situation where I've been in front of a crowd like that, but just me dealing with depression and dealing with anxiety, I have to step back sometimes, or the outcome is not going to be good for me or anyone else. When I kept pushing myself and I didn't understand why I felt the way that I felt, eventually I tried to take my own life, because I didn't understand. Number one, at the time I didn't have a relationship with Christ, and I didn't understand what I was going through mentally, because especially in the black community, I've said it before, mental illness, it isn't talked about. It is taboo. It's a stigma. People in the black community don't like to talk about mental health. When you have mental health issues, then yeah, what we mostly hear about in the black community is, let's pray. But it's more than just praying. It's really having a relationship with Christ for yourself. And that comes through praying, that comes through fasting, that comes through reading your word. And even with me being a Christian, even with me knowing who Jesus is, sometimes things I can feel so bad sometimes now that I still get thoughts of taking my own life. Those thoughts will still try to creep in, but I know how to cope, because I can go and I can say, I gotta get away. I gotta get away from my job. I gotta get away from my husband. I gotta get away from everything. I gotta stop talking. I just got to get along with Jesus. I gotta read my word. I gotta pray. I gotta fast. I gotta do whatever I need to do. But not saying that just because you have a relationship with Christ that those thoughts still don't come. They're gonna come. But the only difference is how we choose to cope with it. Now we have a different coping mechanism. I don't have to turn to vodka, and I don't have to turn to marijuana, or I don't have to turn to other things that I used to turn to that weren't healthy for me. I don't have to turn to those things anymore. But I do have to steal away. I do have to get away. That's one thing that doesn't change, is you have to get away sometimes. You have to have that alone time, not only with yourself, but with Christ. And I really pray for these young ladies, and I really pray for the people that are really attacking them, because you probably couldn't live a day under the pressure that these people live under. You probably wouldn't survive a day, not even a day, a few hours or minutes in their shoes. And Sha'Carri Richardson, like I said, I pray that she gets introduced to Christ. I pray that someone shows her this video, to where she can hear that there is another way, that when you are stressed and you do have those pressures on you, those pressures are gonna come. But there's a man named Jesus who died for your sins, my sins, who already bore everything that we feel. He felt it 1,000,000 times on that cross. Every thought, every feeling, every emotion. He said that he bore our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquity. So everything that we think in our mind, everything that we feel in our bodies, everything that we feel in our heart, whether this pain be psychological, mental, or physical, he died for it. And he's here for you. And I didn't come on here to preach, but I felt like that this is something that I need to let people know, is when you are introduced to Christ it doesn't mean that pressure isn't gonna come. It doesn't mean that you won't get thoughts that you still get now not knowing him. All it means is you have another way. You have an escape. And with him, those thoughts and those feelings, they don't win. But you do have to steal away sometimes. You do have to get away sometimes. So I applaud both of these young women. I applaud both of them. I applaud them by, number one, being accountable, being responsible, because it could have been easy for Sha'Carri to say, she wouldn't even say why she smoked weed. She just said, I'm human. I messed up. I'm human. That's all she would say. It was the reporter that kind of pulled that out of her, because you can see she didn't want to talk about it. And she actually said, I don't want to sit. She actually said, I don't want to sit here and make excuses. I don't want to say the reason why I did this. I messed up. I messed up, and I applaud them for that. And I love that she said this is the only time that the Olympics doesn't see me. So she's coming back again in 4 years. So I definitely applaud her for that. But that's all I had to say, I think, pretty much. And I guess I want to end this video by saying show some empathy, because you never know when you need someone to be merciful or show empathy to you. And the pressures of life that we experience, sometimes it's overwhelming for us. But imagine, carrying a whole team on your back with the whole world looking at you, and half of those people in the world looking at you are rooting for your downfall, are saying negative and racist things against you. Your own people are saying negative things against you. Your own people won't accept you because you don't speak like them. Imagine how that would be. But I just kind of want to talk about mental health, give you my thoughts on that, give you my experience on that. And I think that's pretty much it. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. And as usual, toodaloo. Bye-bye.